Welcome to Worse Than You with me, Mo Fry Pasick. Every week, I'm asking today's funniest artists how they got their acts together. This show isn't about their best or most famous work. It's about the work that means the most to them, their creative process, and why they make their art. I spent the summer performing my stage play, Worse Than You, at Edinburgh Fringe, and I'm just processing the experience, what comes next, and so I am seeking the help of my friends who understand process and creation. When do we put the pen down, and when do we run with the momentum? Is a creation ever really complete?
Ooh.
Yeah. On today's show, we have a very special Fringe headliner joining us. This week's guest is an Emmy-nominated, Peabody Award-winning, and WGA-winning writer, director, and comedian from El Salvador. Most recently, he wrote, directed, executive produced, and starred in HBO's 6-episode series Phantasmas. You know him from projects like Problemista, which is one of my favorite movies, Los Espookies, and Saturday Night Live. His first stand-up special, My Favorite Shapes, was released on HBO in 1925 on HBO in 2019. And before that, he performed it at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. Please welcome to the pod the most incredible artist I know and dear friend, Julio Torres. Ready, set, show!
Build a routine with Ollie that supports your wellness needs, like getting your daily vitamins and minerals with Ollie's multi-gummies, or keeping your mood upbeat with all the vitamin D in Hello Happy. Give your gut health some support with probiotics, and wake up feeling refreshed after taking Ollie Sleep. Do wellness on your terms. Find Ollie at a Walmart or Target near you or at ollie.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Hello.
Hi, baby.
Do you drink during the podcast?
I do.
Okay, great.
But I know people have misophonia or whatever it is.
Wait, what is that?
It's like a discomfort with sounds.
Why are they
oh my
listening
gosh,
to a podcast?
you know what's so funny?
Yeah.
I'm doing prep now. I'm official. And even though I know and love you, I listened to the podcast you did with Emma Stone for A24.
Yeah.
And you talked about the silverware sketch where the person couldn't not hear the silverware being eaten and whatever. That's misophonia.
Oh.
Yes. So this idea that you are driven mad by this physical sound or tiny noises, I guess.
You think you'd avoid
Podcasts?
Podcasts.
Yeah.
Or is it specifically bodily sounds?
I'd imagine it's for me, it would manifest in a chew, for sure.
Sure. Well,
Do you have that?
I don't have that. No, I don't have that.
Couldn't be me.
But just warning for our listeners, you might hear ice rustling
A
and
9th
me
Street
swallowing.
Espresso ice, no less.
Yeah.
Incredible coffee shop. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was one of my first coffee shops.
What do you mean one of my first coffee shops?
Well, the world's kind of made for me.
Yeah, wait, what do you mean it was one of your first coffee shops?
Wow, I actually was not going to, I didn't think that was a weird thing to have said. When I moved to New York.
You buy coffee shops.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the first coffee shops you bought.
Daddy, I want a doll.
Yeah.
No, it was the first one I went to in New York. One of my
the first coffee shop you developed a sort of oh, I go here, they know me, kind of.
At the time, also, it was not in a position to be buying coffee every day. So by my coffee shop, I mean I moved. It was by my apartment.
Yeah.
I went once. And that's my coffee shop.
Sure, but you were in I just moved to New York.
Yeah.
I have a coffee shop.
I was I saw Natasha Lyonne walking out of it the first day, and I was like, honey, I've made it.
Wow.
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
Huge for me. Well, I'm very happy to be chit-chatting with you today.
Yeah, me too.
Usually on the podcast, we talk about Fringe shows and we talk about art and creation, but I think you've made so many wonderful things. It'd be fun just to kind of start teaching about what's exciting you right now? We talk about process, right? And I like to start with clay on the mound, how we get clay on the mound, meaning how you get words to a page, how you get one thing to another. And I've had the honor of watching you tell a joke at an open mic and then watch it completely transform into a full-fledged movie over the course of 10 years. So I don't know. I would love to just kind of start teaching about what excites you about making anything, even if it's a coffee.
I think I realized lately that I'm kind of like a zero idea waste
Really?
person, which is
You
like
have a compost pile
I have a
of your ideas.
I like, which is like not great advice because it's like you're supposed to like let go of ideas that weren't good, right? But
If you love something, hold on to it, keep it like pushed down. Yeah,
I'm like, well, just because that didn't work in that form
sure.
doesn't mean that I'll never.
But do you know the difference? Like when something's not working, is it like I'll shelve it or is it shoehorning?
The thing is, like, I'm more about like the idea of something rather than the form of something. And by that I mean like sometimes people, like when they do stand up, they think of jokes as like an equation or something, like
Sure.
a perfectly formulated sentence.
Timing, yes.
Yeah. But to me, it's about like the broad conceit or idea, and that could be a sketch or a little joke or something.
The literal manifestation of it is open versus the massive
like
umbrella.
The shape it takes is sort of like secondary
Oh, interesting.
to me.
Well, the shape obviously is funny for you, but it's like there's a fluidity in that. But then is the shape it takes dictated by the collaborators, or is it dictated by the way the art resonates, right? Like, is the joke where the joke is funniest, or it's what somebody else shows up with?
It's where, first of all, I think that like right now creators should try and be more malleable.
Wait, Dish, be more specific.
Well, by that I mean like I feel like I started being able to have like general meetings and like all these things like started being taken quote unquote seriously as someone who could create TV at the time when like this like TV streaming boom was happening.
Yeah.
And then that became sort of like the be-all, end-all dream for a lot of performers and creators.
Sure. They decided that was going to be the measurement of their value or worth as one.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm like, well, no, like the dream should never be like the form that something takes.
I think that is the very reason why you are successful, though.
Well, it's also like because you gotta define,
work hard.
no, but like you gotta define success. You gotta define success by your own metric, right?
Sure.
Because a lot of people would say I'm not successful. You know, like
I see what you're saying.
I define it as getting to do what I really love to do.
Yes.
And others would describe it as like a big paycheck so that they can like, which is completely fine. You know, if your dream is to have XYZ.
But also, if you're using someone else's definition almost unconsciously, right? Like, if you don't really actually care about getting a streamer, but you just want to be involved, or you need to get really crystal clear on what it is you actually want.
Yeah.
Is it the feeling that you think that thing will give you, or is it that actual physical thing?
Yeah, I had a writer ask me a question recently where she was like, I have an opportunity to basically get my pilot made.
Okay, love.
But they are like noting me to death, and I fear like it will change what I'm trying to make.
So what did you say?
Well, I said, what would make you happier?
Good.
Like sticking to your guns and like doing something that is uncompromised.
Yeah.
At the risk of maybe not doing it, but going to bed feeling like it'll happen at some point.
Trust.
And yeah. Or, and this is completely fine, are you in a position where you need a check? Are you in a position where like you feel like your career will benefit more from getting your foot in the door?
Yeah.
And having this thing that you don't love come out, but then at least, you know, you made relationships and now people know you and all these things.
Well, that's the
and it's
malleability that you're talking about, I think. Because, like, I think, well, you know what makes me laugh is that we've been talking
and
about—
by the way, for me, it's the former.
money.
No, like, The latter. The latter.
Yeah.
The latter.
I was like, that's actually not what I know to be true.
Yeah, no, the latter, yeah.
No, well, so what makes me laugh is that when, like, this whole season we've been talking about, like, fringe performers and, like, you know, adaptation and, like, how you take something, is it with the intention to make it into something else, whatever. And so when I don't know how I missed this. I didn't even realize you went to Fringe in 2017.
Oh, that's because
Did you bury it?
it was not for me.
Well, that's exactly
It
because
was
I
not for me.
said no, he didn't, and Lauren was like, yeah, he went to Fringe. Julio would never go to Fringe. What?
I went to Fringe.
It's to me, and the reason it's antithetical to you is because a lot of the pull for people is you will have the ground floor to make something after this, to adapt it into something.
Yeah.
And you've never been one that I've known to check someone else's box in order to get what you want. In the what you were saying with the form, you're like, I'd rather be happy in creating than need to do it your way and get something else. So tell me what, like.
Well, first of all, I would say, like, people should go to Fringe because the idea of being at the Fringe excites them.
Exactly.
So it's like
a lot of people are not doing that.
It's like if you it's not like means to an end. If performing your show every day and
learning about yourself
and being in this sort of like camp where you like meet other comedians or performers, etc. If that excites you, do it. Now that was hell to me. That was absolute, like it was.
Yeah.
I was so upset the entire time, and I think it's because I like freedom.
Yes, I agree.
I like if someone invites me somewhere, I show up and I'm not feeling it within the first 5 minutes, I leave.
It is one of the things I love most about you because it is never personal.
No, I'm just like,
you are so like, but you really are. You are like so like, hi, like I love you and I'll check in at the party later, like or like we can do one-on-one. Bye. Like I'm not comfortable in this space. I think you're good at that.
or like and not being able to do that.
No.
And I would like.
Did you have to fly her?
No. Okay, wait. We're gonna get to that in a little bit. I was like in touch with my manager the entire time, being like, how much money would I owe the production company?
I did send these texts.
If I
leave now,
right now, and I couldn't afford it, so I had to stay. I don't know that I learned a single thing as a performer.
So wait, what was the impetus? Like when it was like, yeah, Julio, go, this space where you are.
I feel like I'd never heard of the Fringe Festival.
Sure.
And it was advised to me that would be like a cool thing for me to do. And
the only sentence.
And I was sort of seduced by the idea of doing something that was like a little legitimizing.
Yes, I agree.
I had done my first writing year at SNL.
Was that the first spring or was it a full year?
That's a good question. No, it was a full season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'll never forget when you came on for like guests or something and you and Sudi did Mother's Day sketch.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite sketches of all time. So everyone look it up. It's like 80 and Kate and it's so funny.
No, it was the first full season. And I think I was like worried about the idea of having my whole identity be like employee.
Sure.
Or like staff writer. And going to have my own show felt like
ownership. Taking it back.
Yeah. And also I was like, Edinburgh, what's that like? I'm a very curious person. Like I'll go anywhere.
Sure. Wait, you'll go anywhere, really though? And will you leave anywhere right away? Or like if you're
Oh yeah. Flights always malleable. Like I end up paying like 3 times what people pay for airline.
Is it because you just immediately go home?
Well, or I'm like, I want to go somewhere else.
Oh, you'll leave one place and go to like on a vacation?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. I like, this is why I have to travel with friends so that I don't have
so you don't leave?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very sweet.
But yeah, I just felt trapped at the Fringe. And I don't know that I like learned anything.
Even for the show when you were developing after for?
No. No.
But here's my thing. I love that. That's very good to know. Because I also think it's interesting that it was almost like a claim of your identity because,
mm-hmm.
you know, like, it's like, you're like, 1, I know what I like, I know what I don't like. 2, I don't want to be just staff writer. And 3, I don't want to be this either. So, like,
yeah,
you
no,
know.
it was very, very helpful, and in that way, and like in high school, my school had like spent so much fucking money on a rock climbing wall, and they were like, we got a rock climbing wall, so now they have to rock climb, and it was like part of I think the way that it was sold to us by the coach, by the PE teacher, was like, oh, this will teach you like perseverance and having a goal, and like
they have to have an emotional component.
Like not giving up till you like achieve the thing. And I was like up there, and
Oh, you got up there.
I mean, it fell up there. Watch it be like
1 foot.
Yeah, 1 foot.
Yeah.
But the coach kept going like, no, you gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. Come on. Don't quit. Come on. That's what this is about. It's about. And then I was like suspended by a rope.
No, babe, I just think baby Julio with all this.
Well, and I was like, I just let go and I crossed my arms and I was like hanging there. And that to me was like, oh no, this is what's actually going to teach me is saying no.
Did you know that in that moment?
No, I think like in retrospect, I was like, that was a good lesson for me to learn you can't push me to do something I don't want to do.
But I'm also not a failure if I'm not doing what you think I should do.
Yeah. Also, at the end of the day, we're talking about a wall, and like
it's embarrassing for you guys.
Yeah. It's like you're
shouting at
just
children.
because I don't fulfill the symbol of perseverance doesn't mean that I'm not persevering.
ABC Wednesday. Tim Allen and Kat Dennings star in the new family comedy Shifting Gears.
Dad, I'm broke and I need a place to stay until I figure out what the rest of my life looks like.
So, a couple of days.
When his daughter moves back in.
The last time you walked out that door, you looked back at me and gave me a double bird.
I was 18. The double bird was how I ended all our conversations.
The wheels come off.
Can we try to talk to each other like rational adults?
Have you watched the news lately? That's not a thing anymore.
Series premiere Wednesday, 8, 7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Oh, it's such a clutch off-season pickup, Dave.
I was worried we'd bring back the same team.
I meant those blackout motorized shades.
Blinds.com made it crazy affordable to replace our old blinds.
Hard to install?
No, it's easy. I installed these and then got some for my mom. She talked to a design consultant for free and scheduled a professional measure and install.
Hall of Fame son.
They're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings in the world.
Blinds.com is the GOAT.
Shop Blinds.com right now and get up to 40% off select styles, plus a free professional measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Back to the idea of success. It's like whatever you decided, I'm conquering here. I'm actually telling you, like, I know who I am. Like, and I'm not someone who needs to do that to know I can get through hard stuff.
Yeah, totally. Like, I don't need that metaphor.
I love that you're saying this because can I tell you, Fringe, like when I was going into it, people who I know and love, the advice kept being like, it's going to be really tough. People aren't going to like you. You're going to get negative reviews and it's going to be hard and you're going to learn a lot about yourself. And the whole time I just kept going, I don't need that. I'm good. That's not the lesson I need here.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't care what people think of me. And they're like, you say that now. And then I got there and I was like, yeah, still saying it. And also I'm getting great reviews. Also I'm getting no people at shows and it's still not a measure of my value. I don't have the same metric as you do.
Yeah.
And I do think it served to help me not have to say to that coach, I don't need this, right? To just cross my arms. In these circumstances in which it's like someone's like, listen, it's going to be this for you. It's like,
yeah.
It's like, Julio, this will be a really good learning process for you. You're like, no, I learned nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I do feel like I learned nothing because I just was in a headspace that was just like so over it and so frustrated and felt so trapped. I don't think that there were... I do think that there were things to learn that I just didn't because I just didn't like...
But did you learn from the negative space like you did with the other circumstance?
Other than like never doing a festival for a month again.
That's learning.
That's learning. Yeah, that is learning. Also like, and then that show did eventually became the HBO special. And then obviously the show... as it ended up on HBO is like better than
Fringe.
the Fringe
Yeah,
version.
yeah.
But the improvement, I feel like, came about after Fringe.
In spite of.
Yeah, I feel like it was like truly like the days before taping that I was like,
undoing.
okay, now I gotta get
Yeah.
serious because the thing's gonna go on TV. So like now I gotta like.
But that is your process.
Yeah.
Like where you're
Oh,
like,
you know what I did learn from Fringe though? Okay, you know what I did learn is that, and I didn't realize this before, is that I had a lot of like mother-daughter groups come together to see me more than once.
Aww.
And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Did you not know your own themes before that?
I didn't know. I think it's because I like little things and tchotchkes. Like that, like.
So, mother-daughters.
That like a woman of a certain age.
Madonna child.
Like, well, because it's like, oh, that makes sense. It's like if you're like an older lady, like doll collector
Yes,
or whatever.
yeah,
like
little crocheted, knick-knack.
This definitely resonates with you.
Wow, it's so funny that you have distilled it to knickknacks because to me, the theme, right, is like knickknacks are so symbolic because it is a sort of divine feminine, right? Like regardless of gender, receptivity of you don't need to do or be anything. You can have this little thing and it can mean so much.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's between, it should have been more between queer children and their parent, their female parent or whatever it is. But for years it's mother-daughter because it's like, here's this symbol of our love over this or that memory that is embodied. So to me, it is like inherent to you and like the mother themes in all of your work, which is so adoring and so it is receptive. It is like, look, everything, every little thing can mean such big stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. But you didn't see those themes before. You just saw the tchotchkes.
Yeah. I was just like, no, like, of course they like little glass swans.
Who doesn't like a Swarovski swan?
Yeah, exactly. Wait, why did you go to Fringe?
I think it had to do with like the legitimization of the piece.
That's the other thing. It's like I feel like we spent so much time like trying to feel like we're like a thing that needs to be like taken seriously or something.
It's so annoying because every part of me then bucks that. I'm like, well, I don't want the people I need to prove to take seriously to even take me seriously. Yeah. And then it's like this sort of machine of like, well, we do want some of them because financially then the people who you do care about could see you. And, and so it is that sort of dance of like, playing a little bit of the game and then the malleability we're talking about. Whereas like, I'm like, I certainly didn't learn about myself anything new. I affirmed a lot of my own qualities through the experience. And it already has legitimized it in ways where like people are then like, oh, could we put it up here? Could we do this? Whereas before when Sudi and I were doing it in like LA or New York, they were just like, oh, great, cool. Mm-hmm. End of sentence.
Yeah. I don't know if like lists are still a thing.
Oh my God, remember when it was like the reveal? When it was like, are you talking like vulture lists and stuff?
Yeah, I'm talking about like any publication that like lists ranks.
Yeah.
Are those still a thing? Like,
I think they are. I know a dear friend of ours who recently posted about being on a list.
Okay.
But I don't know who's doing them now.
That I hate like rankings and lists and like.
But right, it does help. People see you.
Does it?
Yes, it has to. Well,
what if it's a list of 100?
Oh my God, nobody has the time for that. Time magazine's one on. Says Julio, who's on Time magazine's like 100 people. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so. I think I'm in like the junior version of that one.
Sure. Okay. But here's my thing. Lists, I think if you need to be on them to feel legitimate yourself, then they're an issue. If you're on them and somebody who wouldn't otherwise get access to someone like you gets to see it, then great. But the game of them of like.
But is that true though? Does your like someone who will enjoy your work and become like a fan of what you do, are they opening?
Yes.
Time magazine.
Yeah,
Time
literally.
magazine.
Okay, how dare you?
And finding
in print. Yeah, in print. Well, here's my thing. But I will say, because think about our community where we started. We're little ragamuffin rats of like alt weirdos that were doing like, and like I don't mean this in a romantic way of like, nobody understood us. It's like, no, people did, but nobody had the access to see it
Sure.
in like more spaces. And so I'm thinking of the times that like, you know, someone like Sam Taggart's, you know, Sisters Weekend video would get seen and then get more traction and get seen on the internet. And then I do think that stuff leads to more visibility.
Okay, but there's a difference between like making something that people saw and enjoyed
Yes.
than
Just being
your
ranked as a
headshot in a
person.
little blurb.
Sure. I agree with that. I'll agree with that for sure.
Like, are people out there like flipping through or like scrolling as if it were a catalog
Yes,
of like?
I'm pretty sure they have to. Otherwise, who'd be in business? Everything's fake. Everything is fake. Not everything's made up.
I feel like it's for the industry. It's for agents and managers.
Who then
Say,
You
I
get to
got
make-
X amount of clients in this list.
and then get to make
Can I
thing.
get a raise? It's for them. It's just for them.
Well, okay, I have a question because sometimes it feels like in like casting or getting something
Yeah.
made, unless you have your little headshot on a list, you can't get a gig. And it'll be like, oh, it went to like the girl with like 60 million followers, but you
Wait,
loved
you think
your
that's
acting.
true now? You think that
Oh
like
yeah, 'cause it's
follower
so,
count?
But no, but I ask you because I think you've subverted it in a way that is magical, because you have been so involved in the community and casting and uplifting and writing with people that you've always worked with, and that kind of feels like a no-brainer for you.
Yeah.
But I think other people might have this idea that they need to sacrifice it or cast a big name or whatever it is, and you've always maintained that like, no, I want to work with who I want to work with and my community. And I think not only is that important and bigger than a little headshot on a list, it does show people that you can cast people without a little headshot on a list.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Also, like one of the biggest compliments that I could get is like, who was that person in like episode 3? And then it's just like,
it's so cool.
and like this, yeah, rather than like, oh yeah, I casted this person
Yeah,
because
like
they have
Sydney Sweeney
X
wanted like
million followers. No, not even, no, because that's like, you know,
oh, you mean like follower
that's
person?
like a legitimate actor,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
like a,
Influencer.
oh, this person sort of like dances in a way that's very specific to like the way that people like dancing right now. So,
I can't even do it.
and then it's like, okay,
But have you had pushback against that? Of like
no.
said with an incredible authority,
Like pushback,
like we'd love to cast this, or we'd love to use this writer or this person.
No, I have gotten advice
Sure.
of like, well, maybe this part
Yes.
could be like this kind of thing, but no, there's never been any pushback. But also because like the things that I've done so far, the stakes aren't that high. Like it's not. I'm not like making like a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? I'm not being
Next,
like,
you're
can
Marvel.
my roommate be the superhero?
Which it will be. Yeah.
It's
Your Marvel movie would be so good.
and I feel like that's what every cool director says before they.
No, it's like every guy. No, that is not what every cool director says.
No, like the ones that have made Marvel.
Yeah,
movies.
that's why yours would actually be cool. Is because you're not saying that beforehand.
I think they're done.
They're resting the dough.
They're like,
They
Wait.
overexpand it.
but also like, why can't you come up with news?
Superheroes?
I mean, it's like, first of all, it's like, why does the obsession with superheroes? Second of all, if it has to be a superhero, why can't you come up with one? Why does it have to be one that was like written in the like? Because these characters are from what, like the 50s, the 60s?
Well, they are actually currently like writing Marvel stuff, but it's not obviously going crazy. And then what they do is they like highlight characters that did well financially or stats wise, like WandaVision. On that, Catherine, so funny from Step Brothers.
Han.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her character, right? Like it really felt like the traction for a full series was there. And then it's like, okay, now we'll explore that character who is already in the comics and already written. And so
But why does she have to be already in the comics? You know what I mean? It's like, why
I
is
hear
it
ya.
like?
fine. I think that's where like capitalism comes in.
But
If they made a new
even
one-
capitalism, I don't understand how being like, why would someone go see a movie about a minor character in a comic book that they've never heard of instead of a new?
Because they brand it well enough to say it's Marvel. Nobody even knows about the major comics. They brand it well, like,
Sure.
you know what I mean? So like, if you're saying this is a fresh new superhero movie that we made, people are like, oh, like weirdo. Like,
Right.
But if you're like, it's part of the universe and it's really big in that universe, nobody knows the difference.
I guess so.
We can pretend like this is Little Bug and it's a huge Marvel comic.
Yeah. I mean, would you ever adapt something?
Oh, that's interesting. It's funny because I wrote at the top of this page adaptation because I was thinking about adapting something from the stage to TV like you did.
Oh, sure.
And I don't know. When it comes to like Clueless was one of my favorite movies growing up. And to find out that was Emma, right? I don't know. Adapting seems so weird to me because I'm like, well, every story is the same in general. Like there's 10 stories, right? Or whatever. It's like, so adapting is just kind of like maybe using the structure that was successful to create your own story. I don't know if I could in good conscience feel excited about it.
Sure.
How about you? Are you adapting something right now?
No.
Okay. What would you want
No,
to
I just
adapt?
felt like asking a question. So far I can't think of anything that I would.
I know, because I like my own ideas.
Yeah.
There's no one I'm like,
I mean, I never say never, but
cut to.
yeah.
I know, I'm trying to think, like I would remake anything like that I want to be remade. I'm like,
Yeah.
It just like, it's because I want to play a fabulous character that I've seen, and then I would just want to make my own fabulous character.
Sure. Wait, has anyone done Carmen Sandiego?
There was talks of it, I think.
I
know,
see you in
like,
a big red hat.
Thank you so much. Wait, remember she's like, hold
Actually,
on.
I don't know anything other than what she looks like. I don't know anything.
She has
Was she in a
voice.
video game?
She talks like this and is like, you'll never find me. I'm in Wyoming, or am I? And it's like
Wait, but is this a
sensual.
computer game?
It was a floppy disk I had that I would put in and play. And then Rockapella played this theme song, and it's like, dum, dum, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Wait,
Bum, bum,
and
bum.
okay, so you're trying to find Carmen Sandiego, and then what do you?
It's actually a really fun game.
Okay.
So it's like you learn like geography and locations because you'll go in a magnifying glass, zoomed in. It'll be like, she's in a place where they sell this. And you'll be like, okay, this part of the world might have that. So then you zoom in there, and then you get to the cities where it's like, this is a capital that she's in. Zoom in there, and then it'll be like, you know, she's trying to trade this. So you'll go to a market. And so then you have to identify the cities and the places that she is.
Why does one, as the player, want to find her?
Because you learn about the world.
No. I mean, no. I know
Julio,
what like the
because-
purpose of the game is, but like in the canon, in the
So,
mythology of the.
I believe she's a thief, and you do have to like, you are justice. And I could be
Okay.
making this up, and it could just because she's like super sexually and it was like titillating that I was like, whoa.
She's a thief.
I believe she's stealing, or like international like spy, a little bit. Yes, is she a spy? Nobody here has culture.
I think the fact that she's a spy rings true, but I didn't realize that you were like her enemy.
No, you're trying to find her.
Right, but do what with her?
Prison.
Prison.
I made that up. I don't remember.
So the
Her
Carmen
just-
Sandiego, the game is like locking her up.
I'm pretty sure because I remember like a bars thing where it's like, but she always got away because she had their great hair and floppy hat.
Yeah, I'm sort of rooting for her.
You can't get locked up with a floppy hat.
No.
Okay, well, we'll adapt something, it turns out.
Yeah.
Because also if she's the villain and the hero, that's kind of fun. Complicated. Oh my God, because is she the villain because of society? Because they don't want her to be a spy? They don't want a strong, powerful woman to be a spy and kill people?
Yeah, sure.
That's it.
AI is here, and opportunity is everywhere, especially with PwC. They bring more than just tech. They bring results with AI that sees what others don't. AI that scales responsibly and strategically. AI that goes from blueprint to breakthrough. AI that delivers. AI from PwC. Are you in? To learn more, visit pwc.com.
I do think when it comes to like adapting, for you, I'm curious because I think you are a dog with a bone where you get your teeth into an idea and you just, do you finish the idea when it's like exhaust it to its largest iteration, or like is there a point where you're satisfied? Like say Problemista, right? So beautifully done, such an incredible film. I've seen it's so wonderful. And I'm curious, like, is that still a part of you, right? That story, that mother-son connection, that immigration system, like is that still something you want to tell in another way? Is it, or is that part done? Or is that like, ooh, I would love it to be this now? Or
oh no, I feel like I like a lot of artists will repeat the same themes a lot. I think that like as people, we all have our hang-ups. And our hang-ups become our themes.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe I'll see them from like a different angle later, but no, I feel like the general themes of like bureaucracy and everything that I explore in that, I feel like I'll probably keep coming back.
Have you ever read Clarice Lispector?
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And she reminds me a lot of you, where her desire was to concretize the abstract and ground it. And I think what Problemista does well is it visually shows you a problem that is beyond words. Like when you feel trapped in an infinite loop, like you visually show that. And I'm just wondering, when you're attempting to do that, because she would, stream of consciousness, right? Like, do you know what you're doing while you're doing it and writing that scene? Or are you figuring it out on its feet and seeing it move and, testing it out?
I think I am writing like a regular scene, and then in exploring what that feels like, it becomes these other things.
Ooh, I love that. Where's the exploration? Like feeling like in the acting? Is that in the...
Like how to convey that that's what this feels like.
Yeah, 100%.
I feel like that's where those things come from.
Yeah, they're not in the literal writing of it. It's like, does it fit almost?
Well, no, they like, because here's the thing. Every time I write something, every time I've written something, I think I am going to write a clean, crisp, easy.
Sure, perfect.
No thrills, grounded.
You're thinking you're writing for C-SPAN, yeah.
Yeah, thing. Because sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, God, this movie is just two people in a house. It's just so elegant. It's like, wait,
Revolutionary Road.
Revolutionary. I'm just constantly trying to make Revolutionary Road. No, okay. I hope that this will resonate. But there's a scene in Sex and the City.
Say that.
Where I think Carrie's wearing her like newspaper dress.
Yep.
And she says it. I don't know. I can't remember if it's a voiceover or if like she says it to one of the friends, but like she is like next to Natasha, if you remember Natasha.
Of course, Natasha, tall model.
Yeah, she's like next to Natasha, who's wearing like a clean, no thrills, little black dress.
This is already resonating, yes.
She's like next to Natasha. I mean, I don't think that this is what she said, but like she was intimating,
this is the feeling, yeah.
I feel like I look insane, like I look like a whore, like I look like, because my hair is big, I'm wearing like a newspaper dress and like
prints and chaos.
Yeah. And it's like, I feel so tacky, right? And I feel like I'm constantly like, oh yeah, no, this one should be a little black dress. And then sever that.
It's such a painful journey of self-acceptance because I agree with that completely, with even my art, where I'm like, I'll just be on a chair and talking to somebody. But then it's like Sudi and I are like, oh, what if we had an outfit change and I'll turn into Glinda? What if this? And it's like I have all these ideas, but then you feel like you're too much. You feel like you have a newspaper print dress on. And it's like, what if I just had a Lily Pulitzer bag and, a clean line Banana Republic khaki skirt and Big loved me,
Right.
Because it's like the thing you want, you think Whereas it's like she can go any other space where she's loved and people are like, holy shit, you're living out loud, you're being you. But it is hard because it's like your art, so many people are like, I'm so seen, thank God. But it is the human thing of like, I've done it. Yeah, that's me. But wouldn't it be cool if I was straight lines? You know?
Yeah. Would it be easier?
It would be easier, but it would be bad because straight lines are boring. Natasha, famously, it's like the story is kind of like complicated and sexist, but like she does not have as colorful a life.
Yeah, she doesn't smile a lot.
She doesn't smile a lot. And like, again, complicated, but it's like, I don't think she does. I don't think anybody who is clean lines, good for them. God bless. They're like just not neurodivergent like myself and can keep track of a single schedule.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I hope the messier is more fun.
Yeah, that's something I've learned is that I really love mess and I love chaos and I love trash and I love...
What is the last line in Problemista about chaos? I'm making you quote your own movie, but I love it so much. Movement.
No, she's saying order will reign supreme at last.
There we go. Right, but these thieves are there. And I think like someone's Sex and the City newspaper moment is going to be Problemista. And that's what excites me about embracing mess, because before it's kind of like trying to be clean lines and it's like, oh, I want to give someone the relief that, you know, Sex and the City gave someone else, or like, you know, that sort of, gave Julio Torres.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Headline.
Yeah. I finally found relief.
I found peace. When you said, I think she was talking to one of the friends.
Yeah.
Which is the friends from Sex and the City.
Yeah, I think she was talking to Monica.
Yeah. And then Ross came in and said, How I Met Your Mother was. Okay, we have 5 minutes, and I would love to introduce you to my final segment.
Yeah.
Which is called Thank You for Holding My Poems. Mm-hmm. And it's my favorite segment, and it feels very Julio-coded because it is that sort of anthropomorphizing of an abstract idea. And so in this section, I would love for you to share one of your poems that we can hold for you. And a poem is like maybe a small moment that meant the world to you. I think you're good at sharing your poems, right? Like your little trinkets, your little moments. But that might not be what everyone sees, or might not be perfect or a clean line or a piece of art that made you feel that way, because it's inspired by Anna Akhmatova, the Russian poet who was writing poems about revolution during the Great Terror, and her poems were illegal to print. And so she came up with what she called the Gutenberg system, which is based off the printing press invented by Gutenberg. And she had her mainly female but friends memorize edits of her poems and hold them, and each person would hold a new edit. And there's such a vulnerability in sharing those things, those unfinished, unclean.
Like holding it like
memorize.
Oh, wow.
Because you couldn't print it. It was illegal.
Wait, imagine if like, oh, I can't save this draft. Can you read it and memorize it?
Literally, imagine if you came up with your stand-up set and you're like, okay, so then you pause. Okay, so then say this. And I'm going, yeah, got it. Okay, yeah. And I'm memorizing it for you. Imagine the vulnerability, one, and you having to be like, it's not finished yet, but like, remember it.
Yeah.
But also the excitement and closeness and intimacy in that. Incredible. Truly imagine. Imagine if your scripts I had to memorize.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, this friend is draft 2.
Yeah.
This friend is draft 3. Yeah. Can we compare them?
And then there's obviously not enough like history on it, but in my mind, I was like, do friends like erase like certain drafts if it's far enough away? You know what I mean?
Yeah, can I forget it?
Yeah, exactly.
It's been like 4 months.
No, it was 30 years.
Oh my God.
It was 30 years before it was legal to publish.
That's some good memory her friends had.
Holding poem. I hold everybody's poem. You hold your friends' poems.
How long are the poems?
Well, the main famous one called Requiem it's pretty long. It's not like, Paradise Lost, but it's long.
Whoa.
I know. But is there a poem you'd like to share with us that we could hold for you? Because you better know I will hold it for 30 years.
Oh my God. Okay. Wait. Okay. So we're defining poem as like an idea that I have?
So this is my favorite part about poem, is that it's a little bit like Juliette Binoche in Chocolat, where it's like there isn't an answer. You just look into this plate and tell me what you see a poem to be. And that is what a poem is.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell you a poem about you that I hold?
Yes.
Okay, here's a poem. One of my favorite memories I've ever had of you, you cry even thinking about it, is that you are so true to who you are in your art that this one time your mom was visiting like 10 years ago, and you were laughing because you said like, oh, she got lost, she couldn't find my apartment. She said she went past the circles and towards the rectangles and then found my spot, and then you were so confused, and then you looked at the doors before your apartment, and in the windows, each little panel was shaped like a circle or a square, and I cried when I read it 10 years ago because I was like, oh, that's Julio. Like, it was so beautiful, and I just think like so much of you is just exactly who you are, and you're so good at not only demanding that it is expressed in the way you want to, you don't allow other voices to change it, and you just honor that. And I think that's a poem to me that I'll hold forever, that moment. I love it.
I remember that.
Do you really?
Yeah,
Oh my
I do.
God. I love that. That's a poem to me.
I remember that. And you know, like, funny trivia.
Yeah.
She was not staying with me. I got her an
In my head, it was like Steve Owen.
I mean, not far.
Really?
Not far.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
oh my God, I'm loving this. I can't wait.
I got her an Airbnb near my place. Tom Hathaway.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Blast from the past.
Yeah.
Wow. Was saying with?
Wait, I recently had a dream about him.
Whoa, something's going on.
I did.
This is lunar eclipse today.
I had a dream about him. I had a dream about him because I met his wife.
Okay.
Who owned a store. She owned like a thrift shop in Bushwick, I think. And when truly by coincidence, I booked her the Airbnb, my mom the Airbnb, the apartment.
Oh, it was coincidence.
It was a total coincidence.
I love this.
My mom, like, obvious, because she was like staying like the spare room.
Uh-huh.
So like my mom met them. And anyway, like, I think his wife is or was European. Anyway, in my dream, recently, like truly 2 nights ago, he was remarried. And there was a different woman. And then he said like, oh, this is my wife. And I like, you have that moment where you're like,
perform.
Where you're like trying to remember like, wait, is this or she?
Yes.
And then you're like,
you can't bring up past memory.
Yeah. And then I was just sort of like, oh, nice to see you.
Yeah. Do you think do you think it was a psychic download?
I don't know, but if this couple is listening to this together,
Congratulations.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. There's something there. It feels too like specific to come up twice in 2 days. Maybe you need a.
Okay, that's my poem.
That's your poem.
This weird coincidence.
Well, I think you follow the scent of weird coincidences, and that's a beautiful poem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I'm like, what does Tom have to tell you? Maybe he has a secret for you.
Maybe Tom has a secret.
There's valuable information here.
Maybe Tom has a secret.
You know I actually believe this. You know I think we have to follow this.
Oh, my mom is a big believer in dreams.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a reason you had that. And there's a reason I'm spiking it now. Okay, we're talking, we've gone too long. But, okay, so another 20 minutes on dreams.
Yeah.
I love you with all my heart. I'm so happy you were here today. Is there anything you'd like to share or finish with?
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been perfect. Bye.
Bye.
Worse Than You with Mo Fry-Pasek is hosted by me, Mo Fry-Pasek. You can learn more about this week's guest and the Worse Than You team by checking out the show and episode copy. It's on your phone, the thing you are touching so often. Sanitize it, my God. For more on our journey to the fringe, head to worsethanYouPlay.com and make sure to follow us on Instagram. I know you're scrolling constantly, and, well, it's the least you could do. Worse Than You with Mo Fry-Pasek is produced by Disco Nap and Kinahora Productions. Oh my God, you're so pretty.
Oh, this is so cute.